Ever get that weird feeling that somebody's watching you, only to turn around and find absolutely nobody there? Congratulations. Your brain is still running software that was designed before houses, electricity, Wi-Fi, or that one neighbor who somehow always seems to be mowing the lawn. Thousands of years ago, this feeling was incredibly useful. Back then, someone is watching me usually meant one of three things. Another human wanted your food. Another human wanted to become your problem. Or a very large animal was deciding whether you looked easier to catch than the deer standing next to you. Ignoring that feeling wasn't just embarrassing. It was evolution's version of clicking delete character. Today, though, now your brain has exactly the same alarm system. Except instead of warning you about a hungry leopard, it activates because there's a coat hanging on a chair in a dark bedroom. Fantastic work, evolution. Your visual system is built around something scientists sometimes call a better safe than sorry strategy. Imagine you're walking through tall grass. You notice something that might be a face. Maybe it isn't, maybe it's just leaves. If your brain assumes it's leaves and it's actually a predator, that's a terrible day. If your brain assumes it's a predator and it turns out to be leaves, you've lost approximately 2 seconds of your life. Evolution strongly preferred the second option. So your brain became ridiculously good at spotting faces, sometimes too good. That's why electrical outlets look surprised, cars seem angry, clouds smile at you. Burnt toast occasionally resembles famous historical figures. Your brain isn't malfunctioning, it's aggressively guessing. Psychologists call this tendency pareidolia, the habit of finding meaningful patterns where none actually exist. It's the same reason people swear they see monsters in the shadows or faces staring out from old photographs. Your brain would rather invent one fake person than overlook one real danger. Think of it as having the world's most anxious security guard living inside your skull. Every rustling bush, probably murder. Every shadow, definitely suspicious. Every tree stump after midnight could be a demon. Better panic just in case. The funny part is that this instinct works astonishingly fast. Before you're consciously aware of seeing something strange, your emotional brain has already started turning the anxiety dial. That's because your amygdala, the brain's personal drama department, doesn't enjoy waiting for evidence. It enjoys surviving. Logic gets invited to the meeting later. Imagine hearing footsteps behind you at night. Your heart speeds up before you've even turned around. Your pupils widen, muscles tighten, your breathing changes. Then you discover it was just someone walking their dog. Your body doesn't apologize. It just quietly pretends none of that happened. Because from an evolutionary perspective, false alarms were cheap. Missing the real danger wasn't. Modern cities confuse this system constantly. Security cameras, dark parking garages, store mannequins, motion-activated lights. Even those giant inflatable tube people outside car dealerships somehow look unsettling after sunset. Your ancient instincts don't care that civilization exists. They are still evaluating every oddly shaped object like they are preparing for the worst day imaginable. Which explains why walking through your own house at 3 a.m. somehow feels like starring in a horror movie you've already paid to live in. And then there's the strange feeling of entering a completely silent place. Silence sounds peaceful until it doesn't. In nature, sudden silence often meant predators had arrived, birds stopped singing, insects stopped buzzing, everything went quiet. Your ancestors who noticed that silence tended to remain, ancestors. The ones who ignored it often became somebody else's dinner. Today, your body can still react to eerie silence with subtle unease. Not because your apartment contains hidden wolves, hopefully, but because your nervous system never received the software update explaining apartment buildings. It's still running version 1.0. If everything goes quiet, something with teeth is nearby. Honestly, considering how often horror movies start that way, maybe your instincts deserve partial credit. The strangest part. Even knowing all this doesn't stop it. You can understand the psychology. You can understand the neuroscience. You can explain every single detail. And your brain still whispers, yeah, but what if? That's survival instinct in its purest form. Logic lives in the front office. Evolution keeps hiring paranoid interns. Basically, your brain is still trying to survive a jungle while you're just looking for the bathroom at 2 a.m. Picture this: you're finally comfortable. The lights are off, the blanket is exactly right, and you're drifting into sleep. Then your entire body suddenly decides to launch one arm across the bed, like it's trying to win an Olympic javelin event. You jerk awake. Your heart races. For about half a second you're convinced gravity personally attacked you. Congratulations. You've just experienced one of the weirdest leftovers from your body's ancient survival toolkit. That sudden twitch is called a hypnic jerk. And while scientists are still debating exactly why it happens, one leading idea is that it may be tied to very old survival instincts. As your muscles relax and your brain transitions into sleep, your nervous system sometimes seems to interpret that dramatic change as a sign that something has gone terribly wrong. It's almost like your brain notices your muscles shutting down and immediately panics. Wait, why are we collapsing? Emergency. Everybody wake up. Imagine having a security guard so paranoid that every time the lights dim, he pulls the fire alarm just to be safe. That's basically what's happening. Millions of years ago, sleeping wasn't something you did inside a locked house with blackout curtains and a memory foam mattress. You slept outside. Sometimes in trees, sometimes on rocky ground. Sometimes in places where literally everything wanted to eat you. Relaxing too quickly wasn't exactly a winning strategy. If your grip loosened while perched somewhere high above the ground, falling asleep could become falling permanently. Whether or not hypnic jerks specifically evolved to prevent that is still debated. But it's a fascinating possibility because it fits one simple rule of evolution. Staying alive beats being comfortable every single time. Modern bedrooms confuse this system completely. Your nervous system doesn't care that your mattress costs more than your first car. It sees muscles relaxing, breathing slowing, awareness fading. Then every once in a while it slams the emergency brake, just in case. What's funny is how dramatic these jerks can feel. Sometimes your whole body jumps, sometimes just one leg. Sometimes you swear you were falling off a cliff, even though you've moved about 3 inches. Your brain is basically producing a full action movie while your body is trying to start its nightly maintenance cycle, and dreams don't help. Many people report dreaming they're tripping down stairs, missing a step, or falling from somewhere high right before the jerk happens. Your brain loves storytelling. If your body suddenly twitches, your mind often invents a reason afterward. It's the neurological equivalent of making up an excuse after you've already embarrassed yourself. Of course I jumped. I was, falling in my dream. Sure, sleep itself is surprisingly vulnerable. During deep sleep, you're disconnected from the outside world more than at almost any other time. For an ancient human, that's incredibly risky. So your body never completely shuts security down. Certain sounds still get through. Your baby's cry is more likely to wake you than steady background noise. An unfamiliar creak in the house feels different from your air conditioner humming. Your brain isn't asleep so much as it's working the night shift with the lights off. Even that strange sensation of waking up for no obvious reason at 3 in the morning may have roots in older sleep patterns. Some historians and sleep researchers think humans may once have commonly slept in 2 segments during long winter nights, with a quiet period of wakefulness in between. Whether or not that explains your random midnight stare at the ceiling, it shows that normal sleep has probably never been as simple as we'd like to believe. Then there's the universal experience of checking the closet after watching a horror movie. You know there's nothing there, you've checked twice, maybe 3 times. Yet somehow the slightly open closet door has become the most interesting object in your entire room. Logic has officially left the chat. That's because fear changes what your brain prioritizes. Instead of asking what's most likely, it asks what's the worst thing that could happen. Those are very different questions. Evolution loved the second one. Sure, it made people unnecessarily nervous around shadows. But it also helped them notice real dangers before they became fatal. Today that same ancient wiring activates because of suspenseful music and clever camera angles. Your ancestors were avoiding predators. You're avoiding the laundry pile that briefly looked like a ghost. Your nervous system genuinely doesn't seem to appreciate the distinction. The strange part is that all of these tiny reactions, jumping awake, startling at noises, scanning dark corners, are incredibly old solutions to incredibly old problems. The world changed, our instincts mostly didn't, so every night, while you're trying to enjoy 8 peaceful hours of sleep, your prehistoric security system occasionally barges into the room yelling, "Is everybody absolutely certain we are not about to die? Thanks for the concern. Now please let me finish my nap." Imagine walking through your house at night and suddenly feeling like someone is staring at you. You stop, the room gets quieter. Your brain starts doing detective work like it's auditioning for a low-budget crime show. You look around, nothing, just a chair, a jacket, a pile of laundry that somehow looks like a mysterious creature waiting for its villain origin story. Congratulations. Your brain has activated one of humanity's oldest survival systems, the fear of being watched. And the weird thing is, this instinct is still extremely powerful, even though most modern humans are not regularly being hunted by predators. Your biggest daily threats are usually things like traffic, bad internet connections, and accidentally sending a message to the wrong person. But your brain is still preparing for the possibility that a tiger is hiding behind the nearest tree. A tree that, by the way, is probably a lamp. This is because your mind was built for a world that no longer exists. Thousands of years ago, noticing that something was watching you could mean the difference between walking away and becoming lunch. A strange movement in the bushes wasn't just an interesting observation. It was a potential emergency meeting between you and something with claws. The humans who ignored suspicious sounds, shadows, or movements didn't exactly pass their survival skills down through history. The cautious ones did. Evolution has a strange sense of humor. It basically rewarded people for being slightly paranoid, not completely irrational. Just nervous enough to avoid becoming a snack. Your brain uses a system that is heavily focused on detecting threats. It is constantly scanning your environment, looking for patterns that might suggest danger. The problem is that this system does not understand modern life. It doesn't know you're standing in a grocery store, not a forest. It doesn't know the dark shape in the corner is a coat rack, not a predator. It doesn't know the person walking behind you is just another person trying to get home, not someone tracking your every move. Your brain is like an ancient security guard who was hired thousands of years ago and never received an update. The company changed. The building changed, the entire planet changed. But this guy is still walking around with a spear saying, "I don't trust that bush." One reason this happens is because humans are incredibly good at spotting faces and human-like shapes, almost too good. Your brain is designed to find people quickly, because recognizing another human was incredibly important for survival. That's why you see faces in random objects. A car's headlights can look like angry eyes. A house can look like it has a personality. A plug socket can look like it's silently judging your life choices. Your brain isn't trying to trick you, it's trying to help. Unfortunately, it sometimes helps like a friend who thinks every minor inconvenience requires a dramatic emergency response. You dropped your keys. Obviously something terrible is happening. You heard a noise outside. Prepare for battle. You saw a shadow move. Excellent, we are all doomed. Scientists call this tendency pareidolia, the brain's habit of finding meaningful patterns in random information. It's why people see faces in clouds, animals in rock formations, or suspicious figures in completely normal shadows. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. If you mistake a rock for a person, nothing really happens. If you mistake a person for a rock, that could be a serious problem. So your brain developed a bias. When uncertain, assume there might be danger. Better to have a few false alarms than miss the one real threat. It's like having a smoke detector that occasionally screams because someone made toast. Annoying, absolutely. But if the house is actually burning, you'll be grateful it works. The funny part is that your brain still reacts this way even when you know better. You can walk into a dark room and logically understand that there is nothing dangerous there. You can tell yourself there is no reason to be afraid. Your brain responds, "That's a beautiful speech." Unfortunately, we're still checking the closet. Logic and survival instincts do not always communicate well. They're basically co-workers who share an office but never speak. The logical part of your brain wants evidence. The survival part wants certainty. And survival rarely waits for a scientific report. This is also why horror movies work so well. They exploit ancient systems that were already built into your brain: dark hallways, unclear shapes, unexpected silence. Something moving just outside your vision. These things are effective because your brain evolved to pay attention to exactly those situations. A horror movie is basically 2 hours of someone intentionally pressing every ancient panic button your ancestors installed. And you paid money to experience it. Humans are fascinating. We spend our free time watching fictional monsters because our brains enjoy practicing for dangers that probably won't happen. It's like your survival instincts went to the gym, got bored, and decided entertainment was the next best option. The next time you feel like you're being watched, remember what's actually happening. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's protecting you with a system created for a dangerous world. Even though that world has been replaced by apartments, smartphones, and people arguing online about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Basically, your nervous system is still guarding the cave while you're just trying to find your charger.